So very, very quickly, only a few minutes. We just a last minute request. This week's parasha is a very short episode, but very interesting. Avraham is not yet Avraham; he's still Avram, and the war with the kings. So basically, there's a big war with different kings in the area. What happens is Avram teaches us and shows us what it means to be a family man. Until now, until this episode in the Torah, Avram was known as a person who hosted guests, was a very spiritual leader, found Hashem on his own, listened to the voice of God, Lech Lecha, he just left. But this episode shows us a different light of Avram. It shows us the Avram who was a warrior, who was a leader, who cared about his family. His nephew Lot was taken captive, the Torah tells us. Vayishma Avram ki nishba, continuing where we left off, the Pasuk tells us, Vayishma Avram ki nishba achiv, Vayar ken chanicha, Vayelidei veto, Vayishmona asar, Ushosha me'ot, Shosh me'ot, Vayirdof ad Dan. Avram hears that his brother, actually his nephew, Lot, was taken captive. And this is the episode where we see Avram is like no longer someone who just sits in his tent hosting people, rather is active, goes out, is a warrior, is a leader. He shows what it means to lead. And in this scenario, he riles up his men that grew up in his house. The Midrashim talk what that means. He goes, he fights off the Anshe Sedom and the different kings of the area, and he conquers a lot of land. And he pushes them very, very, very far. And there's an episode now that between him and the kings. Vayomer Melech Sedom, the king of Sedom says to Avram, El Avram, Ten li hanefesh v'arachush kach lach. Give me they translate it as here we go. After seeing Avram's considerable generosity in his gift to Melchizedek, the king of Sedom said to Avram, give me the people and take the property for yourself. Meaning, let me have the residents of the city of Sedom, because I'm responsible for them. But you can keep all the property that you looted in this war from the kings. And Avram says something powerful. Vayomer Avram el Melech Sedom. Avram says to the king of Sedom, Harimoti adi el Adonai el Elyon. I've raised my hand to the Lord, to Hashem, God of Almighty. It's a lashon of a shavua. He took an oath. He took a swear. Kodesh Shemaim v'aretz. Im michut ve'ad serochnal. Surely be it even a thread of garment or a shoelace. Vim ekach mikol asher lach. I will not take anything of yours. Why? Velo tomar ani he'esharti et Avram. Lest you come to say, I made Avram rich. I made Avram wealthy. And he continues and finishes off this chapter, this paragraph. Bil adai, rak asher achilu hane'arim, v'chelek ha'anashim asher lechu iti aner eshkol umamre, hem yikhu chelkam. Without regard to me, leave me out of the calculations. Only that which the young men have already eaten from the property, as they need it for their sustenance on the way back to the north to Yerushalayim, the property will be restored. Also, the portion of the men who went with me, aner eshkol umamre, they shall take their portion as well. But he says, but for me, although I'm the victorious commander, I am rightfully entitled to the majority of the spoils. I relinquish my entire portion. And the Midrash says something very fascinating. We'll wrap up with this. He says, Velo Tomar, I don't want anyone else to say that Sedom, that the spoils of Sedom, the spoils of this war is what made me rich. On the contrary, Rashi quotes, Shakadosh Baruch Hu Hiftichani la'ashereni shenemar va'avarecha va'gadal shemecha. I don't want anyone to attribute my wealth and my success to you, Sedom. Because what? Hashem told me that He's going to make me wealthy. He's going to make me rich, and He has my back. So I don't need your splendor. I don't need to call you. I don't need anyone to have any safek, any doubt in the world as to who made me rich. I think this is a very, very important idea. I'll wrap up with this. Our outlook when it comes to parashat, when it comes to working, it's very important that if we think we can make an extra buck, but it might not be honest, it might not be with pure intention, why would we even do that? Because Hashem makes us rich. Hashem gives us our wealth, and God forbid can take it away. God forbid if we have any slight doubt if something's kosher or not, why risk it? What's the doubt? We have to talk about everything privately. But I'll wrap up with this. Someone asked from Rabbi Saul Salanter. I saw this last week and I really bugged out. It was such a nice analogy. Rabbi Saul Salanter asked the students, he said, if you guys had all the money in the world, okay, how would you divide it up? No? Good question. How would you divide up the money if I had access to every dollar, every gold, every silver in the entire world? How would you divide it up? So one student said, I'm going to divide it equally to all 7 billion people, no more poor people. Socialist, beautiful, very nice. Okay? Another student says, I'm going to give it to the rabbis and the gabayim, let them decide. They're the experts, they deal with charity, let them decide. Rabbi Saul Salanter looks and says, I disagree with both of you. He looks at his students and says, I would redistribute it exactly the same way. Why? Why did he say that? He said, because right now, the way that it's distributed is exactly how Hashem wanted it. Hashem wanted this guy to have a lot of money, this guy to be working hard for his money. And that's the reason behind it. I don't know, I'm not God, but He knows. It's a powerful lesson that if I didn't read this inside, I would have definitely answered it correctly. But this is the right answer. If I had access to all the money in the world, I would keep everything the same because that is how God decided it to be. And it's an important lesson for us when we go in our ways that we work with emunah, with bitachon, with trust in Hashem. And when we do everything, the point of it is to say Hashem is giving you the parnasah, nothing else. No lies, no thievery, no stealing. Baruch Hashem, amen, amen, chazak u'baruch.